just don't know.
What I told you, Cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.
Huh?
People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And shoot, you already hear I got a slight cold this morning, so I apologize early if I sound like I don't know what I sound like, McGruff or something up in this joint. But I want to thank God for this opportunity. Whether my voice is at full throttle or not, hey, he still gave me the opportunity to wake up this morning and still speak and talk, because people who woke up this morning and can't speak a syllable, whatever, can't talk at all. So I still thank them in advance. And so I want to introduce my right hand man. You know what I'm saying? I would call this man. I think there's a Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, somebody I'm missing, agent. He got a few clients he working on. Cause this man, he go hard for him. My man Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
Hey man, what's happening, man? Glad to be in the land living. Good morning, happy Sunday morning to everybody. And I'm no agent, man. I just believe in my guys. That's all, man. Here he go talking about I'm an agent, but who knows? One day I could be, and I
Hey,
should
for
be.
sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. So I'm gonna get into this, and I'm tired of talking about this, but I got to get into this because it's really, really starting to irk my nerves with this whole thing. So I really should have called this Bron versus Kendrick Perkins instead of Bron versus Stephen A. But it really is about, the whole thing is around Stephen A. He started this mess and he don't want to let it go. So Friday on the show, I think it was Thursday, Stephen A. KP was on there, Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins, I don't know what's going on, and we may talk about this before the show is over with. I don't know what's going on with real journalism. We done got away from it. But Kendrick Perkins sat up there and said, well, I just want to say this. LeBron went and got a new podcast coming out with Steve Nash. So he tries to indicate that basically Bron could have got Shannon Fry, he could have got Richard Jefferson, he could have got Draymond Green or whatever, instead of going, I guess, the white man or whatever to be on his podcast. So Richard Jefferson was on a podcast later on, or whatever they was on later on that day, and Richard Jefferson told Kendrick Perkins that LeBron has helped Richard Jefferson and Shannon Fry by being on their podcast several times. They helped boost their numbers. He started at his own network, which that's how Draymond Green got his podcast deal. So instead of Kendrick Perkins saying, you know what, I was wrong, I didn't do my research, I should have, asked questions or found out what was really going on, what did Kendrick Perkins do? He doubled down. So then he tried, instead of saying that, he tried to make excuses of why LeBron should have gotten somebody else other than Steve Nash to do his podcast, even though Richard Jefferson, who he said that LeBron could have helped, he could have brought Richard Jefferson and Shannon Fry on, what he did was said, no, Richard Jefferson said, no, he has helped all of us at one point or another when it comes to the podcast world. So you wrong, Kendrick Perkins. And so I don't know what it is going with the real journalism where we've lost it. At the end of the day, people like me and Jacob, we get our information from these guys. You know what I'm saying? You got to do other research when it comes to stats and all that other stuff. But we get our information from a Stephen A, from a Colin Cowherd or whoever it is, ESPN, whatever. We get our info because we don't have an inside lane to behind the scenes with all of this. So we got to trust when these guys tell us something that for the most part, it's the truth. But now you get Stephen A and Kendrick Perkins and all of them just create narratives and lies. And then when they get caught in the lie, they want to double down on the lie. So this is why I take up for LeBron the way I do, because at the end of the day, if you want to talk about, forget the GOAT conversation. I don't care about the GOAT conversation. At the end of the day, if you're going to talk about any man, at least come with facts. I hate when somebody lie on somebody and say something about somebody just for the sake of saying it, and then when you get caught in the lie, you don't want to own up to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm put it like this, Jake. If I'm gonna let you go after this, I've said stuff sometimes, especially around like my family or something, especially with your kids. Your kids, sometimes you do something, say something to your kids, and then when you get caught with being wrong with your kids, you don't want to admit you was wrong. I've been there, done that before. I know what it means in those situations. But situations like this, when you're in a public figure, you can't lie about something, and when you get caught in the lie, double down on the lie or try to figure your way to wiggle out of it, because you lose all credibility and all respect with people who's trying to watch you. What you think?
Well, I think that real journalism has gone out the window. Like, I grew up watching people like Mike Wilburn and the white guy that always be on there with him, man. And I will say that Kenny, Charles, and Shaq and and the and the other white guy that wear the bow tie all the time,
Ernie Johnson.
they Ernie Johnson, man, they really have great conversation and great dialogue when it comes to especially basketball. But when it comes to sports media in football, I would love to see like Troy Aikman and Greg Olson and Tony Romo and Louis Riddick. I think Louis Riddick is one that keeps it so real. That's why they only bring him on there every now and then. I think he definitely
Mm-hmm.
needs his own show. I think Louis really needs his own show. You know what I mean? Of course, man, and cause he really states the facts. So, and even when it comes to, and you might not, a lot of people ain't gonna say I'm wrong, but he got some of the most craziest takes, and he might get on people's nerves, but I'd rather listen to Dan O than listen to Stephen A. Smith. You know what I
Dan
mean?
Orlovsky.
Yeah, man. Cause Stephen A. Smith has false narratives, and then when it comes to like people like L and some of the other the females are getting to be more knowledgeable of these athletes,
Mm-hmm.
than people like Stephen A. Smith. The females know what high school they went to, what type of tutoring class they was into, what they
Mm-hmm.
did in college, and and what's happening with them current in the NFL, man. So I think it's just you got called out, man, because you've been trolling that man's son. You should be happy that that man's son is doing at least something in the NBA is developing his game. That man's son was on the floor with cardiac arrest, man. He could have left this world. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody should be rooting for Bronny, man. Instead
Exactly.
of saying this, that, like, okay, maybe he's not as great as we think he should be, but it's called development, man. That's why
Uh-huh.
he plays G League sometimes. That's why he plays with the Lakers sometimes. And you can see how his game has picked up and developed. So
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. Smith is definitely not worth $100 million. He Stephen A. Smith is old boy's son that used to be on Shannon Sharp show. Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp and the old belligerent white guy that think he on tour with Lil Wayne. Like for him to say that he loves Lil Wayne so much that he named his dog Weezy. What?
Yeah, yeah. That was weird.
That was
That was
like,
weird. That was weird.
and then
That was
and then with all what's going on with ESPN, Stephen A. Smith don't like oh boy that interviewed LeBron. Like you're employed by Walt Disney. He's not. He negotiated. He negotiated. Him and his manager negotiated their own deal, and a lot of the athletes want to interview with him, where they don't want to interview with you anymore, Stephen A. Smith. So you know. Whose fault is that? It's yours, man. You think you can say anything to these athletes that is in this profession, and you only average 1.5 points a game, 1.5 points a game, and point zero assists at Winston Salem State. And you
Exactly.
want to
So
talk?
we're gonna we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back here on 910 Sports. All right, we back. Now it's funny you say that because the thing about it is that Stephen A. it seemed like he got money. Excuse me, y'all. We got a slight cold. Seemed like Stephen A. got money and kind of like went crazy like Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's like he on this
Mhm.
Trump rant where he feel like he can say and do anything he want to do. You know what I'm saying? And there's no repercussions behind it. And I don't really get that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I've been trying to get off the story because I don't like lingering with stories. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like to like say what I'm gonna say and move on. But it seems like this is a story that won't die. It won't never end or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you killing the man, whatever. And the thing about you going on these rants for three or four, like 5 or 6 different podcasts. Even Shannon Sharp told you to let it go. You know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, let it go. You said what you said, let it go. Nick Wright done said, let it, like you looking crazy. Like he said, Nick Wright said this is the equivalent of when kids say somebody crashing out. So in other words, Stephen A is crashing out because he won't let this go. You know what I'm saying? His feelings is hurt so bad. And I'm gonna say this when we're gonna move on. People say, "Oh, why did he give the interview to Pat McAfee?" And somebody said, I forgot who it was, said something stupid. I think it was Scoop Jackson. Said something real ignorant. Oh, he could have gave it to one of these little small podcasters that's trying to come up. And I said, okay, let's just say LeBron James would have said, let's say he would have came on 910 Sports, right? And did the interview. You
Right.
know what people would have said? Why he go on there? They don't got no numbers. You know what I'm saying? So black folks would have been satisfied. If he would have came on 910 Sports and did that interview, people would have said, Jake, how they get the interview? They don't got real numbers like that to be getting on interview like that. You know what I'm saying? Who do they have to sell their soul to get that interview? You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter who he would have went to. And the thing about it was, and then we're gonna move on after this. The thing with Pat McAfee that made it so genius is because even Kendrick Perkins brought it up. And Kendrick Perkins probably said too much in this situation. He said a lot of people don't understand that Pat McAfee and Stephen A don't get along like that. And so, other words, LeBron knew this and said, I'm gonna go to your ops and do the interview just to piss you off. Because if you notice what LeBron is doing, he is trolling Stephen A. Stephen A is in his actual feelings. So it's two different things that they doing. They going about it two different ways, and it's looking because it looked like Drake and Kendrick and LeBron is Kendrick because he making Stephen A look real bad in his profession. That's what the crazy part is. LeBron is doggone trumping and ousting Stephen A in his own profession. That's the crazy part. But
But this is what I want to say. What is the valid reason why Stephen A. don't like Pat or McAfee? I ain't never heard Pat say nothing negative, derogatory about Stephen A. And like, what is a valid reason why you don't like this man?
it's not I don't think it's necessarily personal. It's more of the fact that when he, like you said, he inked his own deal with ESPN. But at the time, I think McAfee got the biggest bag in probably like sports journalism or whatever you want to call it history. So he got like a 70, $80 million deal. Stephen A. Look at that. I've been here doing this for 25 years, 30 years, and you know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna bring this man along and give him the bag, and I got the #1 show on the network. And I think Stephen A.
That's
got jealous of that. That's what it's about.
that's
It's
true.
not really personal.
But Pat always had more numbers on Spotify, more numbers on iTunes, and more numbers on YouTube than Stephen A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to leverage that And then if it wouldn't have been ESPN, it might have been Fox Sports. You know what I'm saying? It might have been CBS Sports because all of them won't want him. You know what I mean? And Pat is a person that is no holds barred. He gonna say what he feel if you don't like it, oh well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And and he got professional history where he
yeah,
played in
yeah.
the league. Where he played in the
Exactly,
league. You know what
exactly.
I'm
Because
saying?
you, hmm and they're two different lanes.
Right,
Pat McAfee show is not really a debate show. It's a more of a
right,
discussion show.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Stephen A is a debate show, so they're in two different lanes. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like Pat McAfee is like fun, having a good time, whatever type of thing. Like you and your homeboys just sitting around, just shooting, just talking mess. Whereas Stephen A is they trying to come at your throat and stuff. And I'm gonna say this about L. Duncan. L. Duncan, every time she on there, she be killing doggone everybody on there as far as her debates and her information. She always be on A1 with her stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And whatever. But at the end of the day, like I said, hey, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, like he just need to let it go. It's like I'm gonna let this go and we gonna move on to something else.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
so
Okay, so we got the NCAA tournament, women's and
hmm
men. And
hmm
so we'll start with the women's first.
okay.
Who do you see in the national championship for collegiate female
Well, at
championship?
this point, probably Connecticut with Paige Becker and probably South Carolina. Oh, would they? Okay, so in the brackets, would South Carolina and Connecticut play in the Final Four, or they play in the championship game if they was to meet?
I believe the championship game.
Okay, so I see Connecticut, South Carolina, because I feel for Juju, because I feel like Connecticut. I mean, USC still won yesterday without
Hmm.
Juju. So just imagine if Juju would have been there, and then they would have been playing Connecticut. You know what I'm saying, or whatever in the final eight,
I
or
don't
whatever. And
I don't think that that whoever play LSU gonna have a problem. That's all I'm
LSU.
saying. Yeah, cause
Okay.
Fly J and Morrow is killing. Morrow had 30 and 20 the other day.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? And they got a good supporting cast. So it's gonna be very interesting, and it's gonna be very interesting to see if South Carolina gonna be Texas today.
Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like this. I think that like with Connecticut, they like an older team, and they got a
Mhm.
lot of they've been a lot of these battles every year where they get right there at the cusp of winning the Final Four, the championship game, and they haven't got over the hump since something like 2017 or something like that. So it's been a minute for them, and I think they might be hungry enough where they might end up winning, and they do probably got what the second or third best player in the country. You know what I'm saying with Paige
Yes.
Becker. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you know what I mean, with the number one player gone in the country, and Flage, I love Flage, love everything about Flage. But Flage, I mean, does she have is her game big enough where she can impact it to win it all? And I don't know that. I don't know if she her game is big enough to impact it in a way where she can win it all. I mean,
I know Fly J is the leader. Fly J is the facilitator, but that Anissa Morrow,
yeah,
she okay, she the leading rebounder in the country, and she can score. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
hmm
like they like they couldn't stop her on the court, bro. Like never seen
yeah,
nobody shoot the jumper, shoot the trade, go inside the bang, slash the basketball, and have 20 boards.
yeah, yeah.
It was just unbelievable, man. So so
Mhm.
so it's gonna be interesting, man. But I know there is way more eyes on women collegiate basketball than there's ever been. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
When I hear you say that you watch it, yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
really watched. I haven't watched really college girls basketball since probably the early 2000s, like when Diana Taurasi was first came in the league and all that. That's probably the last time I really watched it like that. You know what
The
I'm saying, or
last
whatever.
time
When she
the
first,
the la- when I really paid attention was when Don Staley came to South Carolina. But before that, the last time I really watched it, man, was like Candace Parker and Ivory Latta and when all of them was playing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that was some time ago. But now we have the men. And before you get into the men's, you know, I'm gonna say this. Somebody made a very good point on Twitter this morning. They was like, man, what has happened to the coaching? What has happened to people like like John Thompson and like the coach from Syracuse, Jim Boeheim and Dean Smith and Roy Williams and Calipari and Tubby Smith and coaches like that. They said if Cooper Flag was playing in that era, he wouldn't be able to get the ball off. You know why? He
hmm
said because I have not seen the team double team Cooper Flag at all this year. They just let him kill that one man and he just get off. Like
yeah,
what? What? Like make somebody else from Duke beat you besides
yeah,
Cooper Flag. Does,
hmm
does that make sense to you?
yeah. I'm gonna answer that. We're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna answer that on the other side. Okay, we back. So I said this to somebody last night. I said I'm still not sold completely on Cooper Flag being that guy in the NBA. I think they done hyped the man up so much. I said I don't see transcendent like a lot of people do. I don't see that. I just see a real good player that does a lot of good things pretty good. Um, I'm more impressed sometimes by Knipple or whatever his name is, the other guard that be hitting all them threes. I'm more impressed by him sometimes than I am Cooper Flag. Not to say Cooper Flag is not great, because I just think with Duke, see the thing about Duke this year is Duke is such a complete team that everybody he Cooper Flag getting all the credit, but Duke got real big men that actually defend and guard and actually post down, post up. They got guards that can shoot. They got a complete team and they play defense. They're gonna be hard to beat. But at the end of the day, I just don't. I just don't. With me, I'm with you. Like I don't feel like they coming at the other players don't come at Cooper Flag in a way to really disturb his game. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
right,
that. You know what I
right.
mean? So
And what people don't look at these key factors, man. Duke rebound the ball offensively and defensively. And like you said, their down low presence is great. They box out like no other, man. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And man, they run certain plays for the point guard for Cooper Flag and small forward. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the strategic planning that has went on for them is great. You know what I mean? So, but
Mhm.
I'm I'm really impressed by Florida though.
Yeah. Well, okay. Before you say that, because I'm gonna talk about Florida too. I want to talk about Florida. But before you say that, is this. Um, back in the day, like the 92 Dream Team, they had Christian Layton on the team. They would have never allowed a freshman to dominate, you know what I'm saying, them the way that like this team, just this year's Olympic team allowed Cooper Flag to come in and dominate doing like the practices and stuff. To what you heard
He
about
got
that.
off. He got off.
Exactly. Because they would have done everything they could do to shut him down. Think about when Shaq was in the All-Star game his rookie year. They pretty much ostracized. They wouldn't give him the ball. They beat him. They wouldn't allow Shaq to get off in the All-Star game back then. So I think the mindset of those players were different. Like rookie, you got to come and earn this. You're not gonna be able to come in and just take this. You know what I'm saying? So think about like one thing I will respect, like a Pat Bev. When Lonzo came in the league, first game he tried to play against Pat Bev. Pat Bev was like, "You ain't about to get off on me, on us, and you a rookie, and they talking about you the next." the next you better than half the league and all this other stuff, you're not about to get off out here. You know what I'm saying? So unless like the Cooper Flag, unless he play like Draymond Green or somebody that'll take it more seriously, I don't know if the NBA players are gonna take it personal when he come in the league next year. That's my only thing. These players don't take it personal when somebody like that come in the league and they got all this hype around them or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But get to Florida. You've heard throughout the whole before the tournament started, throughout the tournament, that Florida was the best team in college basketball,
Right.
besides maybe Duke, and they got two everything or whatever. I watched them play in this tournament. I'm impressed by Clayton Jr. Don't get Clayton Jr. the real deal, but Florida leaves something to desire to me. I don't see if I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have got beat last night and they made a comeback because Texas Tech just forgot how to shoot free throws. And I think Auburn is a little bit better. I think Duke is better. I think Houston is better. So I from what I've seen out of Florida, I'm not necessarily impressed because they allow teams to hang around and they go into these moments of games when, because Clark Kellogg said they got the most spurtability in college basketball. I don't see
Right.
it at times. You know what I'm saying? I don't see
Well,
them,
well,
you know.
well. I just think Florida had a kind of a streaky game last night. But I just seen Florida go up by 25 or 30, and the team can't get back in the ball game. If
Yeah,
if Florida get the clicking like that, man, they can beat any team in the country. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
And and the one thing that I will say about Auburn, the light skinned fella on Auburn, he a problem. But
Chrome. I think his name is Ron
yeah, yeah,
Chrome or something
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I will say that
like
sometimes I believe that they're not good on defense as they need to be,
that. Yeah.
especially when a team can really rotate the ball and everybody can, like on Houston, everybody can shoot. So
Mm-hmm.
if if they rotate the ball and not give it to the hot man, but keep it in the open man hand, and then they got the little small forward in Houston that's got that 17 footer like DeMar Rosen, man. Like
Yeah.
so, it's gonna be some interesting games, man. But
I think
who do
Duke
you
would have
look?
to play. I think Duke would have to play Auburn if Auburn win today. I think Duke would have to play Auburn next. And if that's the case,
Okay,
I think that's the only team. I think that's the only team that can beat Duke at this point is Auburn. I don't think Florida can beat them. I don't think Houston can beat them. You know what I'm saying? I think Auburn's the
okay.
only team that can beat Duke at this
Uh,
point. That's just my
a
opinion.
lot,
And I
a
hate to
lot.
say that. You know what I mean? I hate to say that because if you see what I put last night on my post, I said I got $1 million to any team that can beat Duke next weekend. You know what I'm saying? Laugh out loud. But you know what I'm saying? But hey, I at this point, if they make it to the championship game, please just beat Duke. One of my best friends is a
Uh,
Duke fan, and he worse than anyway. I know I talk about Cowboy fans and how annoying they can be because you're not one of the ones that's annoying like that. But when it comes to being a Duke fan, 'cause he a Duke and a Cowboy fan. Oh my God, we'll never hear the end of this. Oh
man,
my
but
God, we'll never hear the end of this.
I'm gonna tell you what a lot of the sports writers are saying that they write in the magazines and write the blogs and the sports newsletters and stuff like that. They saying that they don't think nobody can beat Duke. They
The way
said
it's looking,
they said that this is a get back from when North Carolina sent Coach K home, and they was like, you know, then cause what people don't know, man. Coach K is still very heavily involved in the program. You might not see him, but he involved, bro. Believe
yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So eh, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Duke win, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either at this point. At first, I ain't gonna lie, most of the season when I would watch them play, I was like, oh, I don't know if they can beat none of the big dogs, the Auburns, the Alabamas, the Tennessees, and all of them. But they beat Alabama like like it was nothing yesterday. They control that whole ball game from tap. And so, like I said, Auburn is a little bit bigger team than Alabama, and they play a little bit more defense, a little bit better. So if anybody's going to be them, it'd be Auburn. Florida, I don't know because Florida big men, they decent, but I think Duke big men can kind of push them around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then I would have to see with the guards or whatever. Like Clayton Jr. would have to really get off against Duke. Like he would have to really get off. He would have to
I
have
think
a
he,
25, 30-point game
I
against Duke.
think he can have like 30 against Duke.
Yeah,
He can
he
have
gonna
30.
have to. He gonna have to. That's the only way they're gonna beat Duke. He gonna have to have. They say he might be the next Steph Curry. Where he gonna have to show up and show out for them to
Right,
beat Duke.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can dig
Or
it.
whatever.
I can dig
Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back on 910 Sports. All right, we back. We
it.
back.
Now, now I'm gonna switch over to MLB and then we'll go back to basketball.
All right.
Listen, man. I know the other day we were talking trash about my Yankees probably win the last World Series. Boy, but this to be the season opener, bro. And the Yankees went on that home run derby like that. Man,
Uh-huh.
ain't nobody had no 9 home runs in the first 3 innings in baseball history.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
I said, man, look, I said, I said, I know I couldn't just looking like, man, this can't be real.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna say this, and I say that. Remember couple of years ago when the Braves had that real hot start, and they couldn't. They were hitting every ball that was thrown down the plate.
Yeah,
And I told Steve-O, I said, Steve-O, Steve-O, a big Atlanta Braves fan. I said, I don't know if they're gonna end up like burning out and they gonna meet their peak before they get to the playoffs. Because sometimes like baseball, we know how baseball is. You
yeah.
can start off cold and get hot, or you can start off hot and get cold. And then by the time the playoffs come around, you don't look like the same team, good or
What they
bad.
play like a
And
what they
and
play
that's what
like
happened to the Braves that year.
what they play like 171 games, 172 games,
162. And that particular year,
162.
the Braves got knocked out in the first round because they didn't you know what I'm saying, because they kind of burnt out because they had this hot start, and then when they got to the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, they had already exhausted, like it's almost like they ran out of hitting ammo, you know what I'm saying, when they got to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that in the playoffs, it's all about pitching too. You know what I'm saying? The pitching can beat hitting any day of the week if you got great pitching. So I don't know if the Yankees are going to be able to hold up, have this hot start and then come that time of the season if they're going to be as good as they were last year. Because they lost a couple of people from last year's team, some key
Right.
people. So I
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to actually be as good. Of course, they may make a trade or do something, in trade deadline, you know what I'm saying, if they need to. But I don't know if necessarily if, like if you look at the Dodgers, the Dodgers,
He's
the
loaded,
Dodgers might would just be
loaded.
the Dodgers, if you equate it to like basketball, the Dodgers is like if you put the 80s Celtics and the 80s Lakers everybody on one team. That's what the Dodgers
Yeah,
is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
That's what the Dodgers is.
Boy,
But
that's
yeah.
crazy, man. That's crazy. How many great players they got on their team? How many Hall of
Yeah.
Famer players is on the Dodgers right now? Is crazy, bro.
Think about it now. You got what's his name? Otani. Otani is considered the best player in baseball. He probably, if he keeps on the way he going, he probably gonna go down as the greatest player to ever play the game. Or at least probably in the top 2 or 3. He hits a lead. He's the lead, he's the lead hitter. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he the power hitter. He the lead hitter and hitting 40, 50 home runs. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. You know what I'm
A
saying? What
pitcher,
in the history of baseball, you've never seen that before. You've never seen your lead hitter be hitting 40 or 50 home runs like that. You know what I'm
not only
saying?
that, not only that, you never seen a pitcher hit that many home runs.
Never, never. All right, that's crazy to the point where they like shoot. They got so much pitching. They like, well, we only got to use him until closer to the playoffs. So they talking about he might not pitch until later in the summer or closer to the playoffs before they actually need him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's crazy to me. Like it's almost like you almost look like I was happy the Dodgers won last year just because I'm a big Magic Johnson fan, business wise and everything he's doing. And of course he one of the owners of the Washington Commanders. But at the end of the day, I'm to the point like, man, let somebody else win. I don't want to see the Dodgers keep winning because it's starting to get unfair at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's getting unfair at this
Nah,
point.
I understand. I understand. So just want to tap in on the MLB, man, and now we're gonna tap into the $1 million question. Will the Los
What's that?
Angeles Lakers make a playoff? Will the Los Angeles Lakers make a playoff run?
I don't know because they defense, man, it's so up and down. You get these 15, 20 point leads and you blow it at the blink of an eye. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like you got the three-headed monster with Brian, Luca, and Austin Reeves. I give Austin Reeves all the credit in the world. He done turned himself into a legit star player. But you know what I'm saying? If you can't stop a cold, you know what I'm saying? Then shoot, if you can't stop a cold, you know what I'm saying? Basically, then I don't see them because okay, I'll say this: if the Lakers could get to the number three spot and Houston stays at number two, I think they can. If they whoever they first round opponent, I think maybe like the Clippers. They may
Uh,
could beat the Clippers or whatever because I think they might have enough because Clippers don't really have a big man that could really slow them down. So
mhm.
so I feel like they could beat the Clippers. So let's just say they get to the second round and they have to play the Houston Rockets. I think they would beat Houston Rockets because Houston Rockets sometimes go on these things where they can't score the ball and they still mad young. So they could get to possibly the East Western Conference Finals, but all this OKC, KFC, whatever, Lakers in five over the Thunder. Nah, they ain't beating the Thunder. They not beating the Thunder. No, I don't see it happening. And the way SGA balling, no, they ain't beating the Thunder.
Now
Mm-mm.
this leads me to the next question: who will be the MVP of the league this year?
Well, it got to be SGA because
I, I don't
SGA.
know.
Well, put it like this: SGA got the most 30 point games, 40 point games, and 50 point games in the NBA this year. His team is the number one seed. They're running away with it. He actually in like top five category in defense. I want to say in like steals, I believe. So I get that Yoke is doing what Yoke always does, but SGA he should have won it last year. To be honest with you, to me, and I think they trying to it's a makeup call. They know they
Well,
robbed SGA last year.
I'm gonna say they did, but the thing about Joker, it's hard, man. Because that Joker been top 10 in every category, man. Like points, rebounds, assists, blocks, man. Like when you stay top 10 in every category consistently, man, it's kind of like a toss up. Yes, I think SGA win it this year, but I think Joker gonna win it again at least two, three more times.
Yeah, he probably will. Well, for a couple of reasons, but one, I'm gonna say this: SGA got the big joker this year because on his defensive presence. That's what's gonna get him over the hump. And they got the number one. They the number one team in basketball as far as
Right,
record
right, right,
wise. So I
right.
think that's what's gonna get him that number. That could get him the MVP this year or whatever. But Jokic's gonna end up winning MVP a couple more times because NBA been looking for that narrative. They've been looking for that so-called great white hope. I know he's an international player, but they looking like they've been looking for somebody that look like them. That's why Cooper Flag has been they don't put Cooper Flag on this pedestal. Because I'm telling you, they're trying to make Cooper Flag like Larry Bird. That's what they're trying to do. They're gonna
Well,
do everything
well,
they do to push that narrative.
they was talking about Cooper Flag, and somebody on Twitter said, "Well, I mean, he good, I understand, but I don't think he's gonna come to the league and do what Dirk did. You know what I mean? I said, yeah. Then I replied, you're right, because it's gonna be hard to do what Dirk did. Dirk was a dog out there.
Yeah, I mean, he might have some. He might have a good see, but think about it: is he might go to a team. Let's say he go to somewhere like the. Let's say he end up in Philly or he end up in Charlotte. Let's say he end up in Charlotte. What will his impact? Charlotte ain't had an impactful player that really impact winning since like Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. That's the last time they had players that really impacted winning in Charlotte. So if Cooper
Uh-huh.
Flag go to Charlotte, do you really think he gonna change? Like all of a sudden they gonna get so good that Charlotte gonna end up winning the championship behind Cooper Flag? Because that's what it's gonna
But
boil
what?
down to.
But what if he end up in San Antonio, like people projected?
I mean, yeah, because especially if Pop comes back, if you put him and Wemby together, that's a whole different conversation. But Wemby is a whole beast by himself. So now is it Cooper Flag or is it Wemby? Which one is that? You know, and who's the dog? Who's the man? So if Wemby keeps projecting the way he projecting, then it may take away from Cooper Flag
I don't think
greatness or
so.
whatever.
I think I
But
think I think I think Fox and I think Fox and Wimmy and Cooper Flag can be a big three.
yeah, but it's gonna be very difficult for the Spurs to get to the number one pick because they don't have as many balls as the other team as far as the lottery balls that you get because they're closer to getting in the playoffs than not. So the Bulls, the Charlotte Hornets, um, who else? Philadelphia. It's other teams that have a better opportunity. Now that would be crazy if he ended up in Philly with Embiid and Paul George and Maxey. That would be crazy. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? But you would probably end up trying to trade. You have to probably trade Paul George at that point.
he ain't gonna like playing with Embiid because Embiid gonna miss half of the season. You know what I
That's
mean?
gonna be
I
better
ain't
for him though.
man. Look, man, that man Embiid, man, that man missed so many games. I'm like, man, they pay and Paul
But
George, man.
that'll be better for Cooper Flag. Because
Yeah, that's it.
if Embiid and Maxey and Paul George is all there, then he not gonna get as many touches. But if let's say you have to trade, because they'll probably have to trade Paul George if they got the number one pick or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So they would have to probably trade. That's what I'm real curious about. Because like let's say he end up in Chicago. Now you gotta live up to the whole okay, the Michael Jordan thing, legacy thing. If you go to Chicago. So that's another thing that, you know what I'm saying, like a whole different situation. But I
Yeah.
guarantee you the NBA want him in a big market. The NBA
Oh
want
yeah.
him somewhere, they want him somewhere like Miami, LA, New York, Chicago. They want him in Chicago because Chicago is a big market. You know what I'm saying? So
And
they would
and
love to
and
have him there.
and I will say this. He really, and I love the boys. That's my squad. But just ain't been saying it because we did that in a long time. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
I will say this right here that he just may be that missing piece that Chicago needs. Because Chicago has a very good roster.
Yeah, yeah. Now we're gonna take one last break. We'll be right back here on 910 Sports. All right, so we about to get out of here, but I'm gonna say this: next weekend is our last our season finale of 910 Sports, and so we're gonna have a big announcement next weekend about the movement of the next level for 910 Sports. Or whatever. So we're gonna speak on that next weekend, so people can look out for that or whatever. What we about to go to, the levels we about to go to next, or whatever. So, but I appreciate everybody supporting us at this whole time. We've been rocking for about 4 years now, and we've been working on the next level um, that we've been trying to get to, and I feel like God is pushing us and blessing us to our destiny or whatever. So y'all just gonna see bigger things from us moving forward. You know, especially with the platforms we going, you're gonna see bigger guests and you're gonna see bigger conversations and what we're doing. And so I appreciate anything. I don't know if you anything you want to say before we get out of here. But
No, man. I want everybody to have a blessed Sunday, man. Keep it pushing and man, stay safe out there, man, and stay tuned, man. We definitely be dropping more important messages.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We out. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.